Ever get that, like, that itch,
Yeah.
to just get away from it all? Like, really get out there into
Ah.
nature. Ditch the phone, ditch the screens, like, just totally immerse yourself.
Well, yeah, totally.
And for me, there's just something about Australia, that untamed wilderness just calls to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the idea of exploring it, but not just like a regular road trip. I'm talking about overland travel.
Mm-hmm.
Really getting off the beaten track,
Mm-hmm.
that just seems like the ultimate way to create some truly unforgettable memories. And for you listening, that's exactly what we're diving into today.
That's right. We're going deep on some seriously secluded and breathtaking campsites all over Australia. We're not talking about your typical crowded holiday parks, no way. We're
Yeah.
talking about those hidden gems, those spots where you can truly experience the raw beauty and the vastness of the landscape completely on your own terms.
Exactly. And to guide us on this journey, we've been spending time with the ultimate guide to Australia's wild campsites. It's an awesome resource, jam-packed with insider knowledge. But our goal here isn't to just read it to you. We want to distill the most crucial and fascinating insights about overland camping down under.
Yeah.
So think of this as your shortcut to becoming well-informed, ready to fuel your own adventures.
That's it. Our mission is to spark your curiosity, maybe even inspire you to plan your own trip. We'll give you the key knowledge, some surprising facts, but without overwhelming you with too much info.
Okay, so when we talk about overland travel in Australia, it's not exactly a new concept, right? I mean, this isn't something that just started with SUVs or anything like that.
Right.
There's a much, much deeper history there.
Yeah, what's amazing is that the history of traveling across this land goes back like tens of thousands of years, long before there were any roads.
What?
I mean, way back. The indigenous peoples of Australia, they had this unbelievable understanding of the landscape. They navigated vast distances using intricate trails and knowledge systems passed down for generations. It's truly remarkable, their ability to live sustainably and navigate such diverse environments.
Yeah, it really is. So even before European colonization, there was already this really profound history of movement across the continent.
Right.
I mean, it makes you think about the layers of connection to the land that exist there.
Absolutely. And then with the arrival of Europeans, you see explorers and settlers venturing into the interior,
Hmm.
charting these territories that were completely unknown to them. These journeys were often incredibly challenging, pushing the limits of human endurance and geographical knowledge. I mean, just imagine the willpower it took to cross these harsh environments with the very limited resources they have.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. And
Yeah.
I mean, there are some truly iconic, almost legendary figures from that era, right?
For sure. John McDouall Stewart's expedition in the 1860s, the one where he successfully crossed from south to north,
Yeah.
that was a major turning point. It proved that a route across the entire continent was possible and really paved the way for future development. An incredible feat of resilience and navigation.
I bet. You can only imagine the challenges they faced.
Oh, immense. And of course, you can't forget the tragic story of Burke and Wills.
All right.
While their expedition ended in disaster, it's a stark reminder of just how unforgiving the Australian outback can be to those who are unprepared or lack the necessary knowledge.
Yeah.
Their struggles really highlight the importance of truly understanding the environment and meticulously planning any journey.
Absolutely. So we've got these, pioneering, often perilous journeys. But how did this idea of overland travel evolve into something more accessible, something everyday Australians could do?
Well, after World War II, things started to change. Motor vehicles became more affordable and reliable,
Right.
and that's when the concept of the Aussie road trip really took off. People had more leisure time and this desire to see their own country, to explore.
Makes sense.
It was a shift towards more recreational travel.
Yeah, the freedom of the open road becoming like part of the national identity, right?
Exactly. But the real game changer, the thing that opened up those truly wild and remote campsites, was the four-wheel drive. Suddenly, you could reach terrain that was previously inaccessible. This is a whole new world for adventurers, for those seeking a more self-sufficient way to travel.
Yeah.
And for you, the listener, it meant the chance to reach places few others could.
Okay, so we've got this historical backdrop, the evolution of vehicles and all that, but you also mentioned some like mind-blowing facts about the sheer scale and opportunity that exists for overland travel in Australia. Give us the details.
All right, picture this. Australia has over 500 national parks.
That's 100.
Each one is a protected area, safeguarding these unique ecosystems. And they offer such a diverse range of camping experiences. You could be at a coastal haven falling asleep to the
I
waves,
mean, they.
or in a rugged mountain escape with breathtaking views. That sheer number, 500, it really highlights the commitment to preserving these natural wonders.
Over 500, that's almost overwhelming in a good way, of course. Like, how do you even choose where to go?
Right. And then think about the scale of some of these natural features. The Simpson Desert, for example, it spans across 3 states, Queensland, South Australia, and the Northern Territory. It's one of the largest sand dune deserts in the world. Just
Wow.
imagine endless waves of sand and camping under these vast star-filled desert skies. It
Encouraging.
gives you a sense of the immensity of the Australian interior.
Yeah, you painted quite a picture there. That's some serious remote beauty.
And then there's the Birdsville Track. This wasn't originally designed for tourists or anything like that. It was a stock route for moving cattle across really challenging terrain. But today, it's become this legendary overland route.
I've heard of that.
It's a real testament to the history of connecting remote communities and a bucket list journey for many adventurers.
I can see why. So we've gone from these ancient indigenous pathways to like modern 4WD adventures. Could we like map this out on a timeline just so our listener can really get a clear sense of how things have evolved?
Absolutely. We can break it down into 4 key phases. First, you've got the pre-colonial era. This spans millennia, right? We're talking about the time when indigenous peoples were expertly navigating the continent, using their deep understanding of the land.
Yeah.
These trail networks and knowledge systems were passed down through generations. Their knowledge was and is fundamental.
It's the foundation upon which all subsequent travel is built, really.
Exactly. Then comes the 19th century, the age of European exploration,
Right.
driven by this desire to map and understand and often to exploit the continent's resources. And while these expeditions were often fueled by colonial ambitions, they did significantly expand geographical knowledge, even though it came at a great cost to indigenous communities.
Yeah, the era of those ambitious and sometimes, tragic expeditions.
Mm-hmm. Moving on, we reach the mid-20th century. This marks the rise of motor vehicle travel, where the road trip becomes deeply ingrained in Australian culture. More accessible natural areas opened up for camping and leisure, and it really changed how people experienced their own country.
Right. Think of all those classic family road trip photos. Station wagons packed to the brim.
Exactly. And finally, we arrive at the 21st century. Advancements in four-wheel drive technology and GPS navigation
Yeah.
gave a new generation of adventurers the tools to explore even more remote and challenging landscapes with more confidence and precision. Now, with the right preparation, areas that were once thought impossible are within reach.
Amazing. Okay, so we've got the historical context, the mind-blowing facts about the scale of opportunity, and this timeline showing how overland travel has evolved. But let's get specific. Let's talk destinations. Where are some of these truly incredible campsites that the Ultimate Guide recommends? Give us some spots to dream about.
All right, let's bring these concepts to life with some concrete examples.
Hmm.
First, imagine yourself at Cape Legrand National Park in Western Australia. Picture pristine white beaches, turquoise water so clear you can see right through it.
Wow.
And get this, a real chance of seeing kangaroos just chilling near your campsite. It's a coastal paradise where wildlife just feels incredibly at home.
Kangaroos on the beach. That's an image that really sticks with you. Speaks to the unique Australian environment, for sure.
It does. Now, let's switch gears completely and head to the Red Centre in the Northern Territory.
Okay.
This is like the spiritual heart of Australia. You've got awe-inspiring desert landscapes, ancient rock formations like Uluru, which hold such deep cultural significance, and the opportunities to connect with indigenous culture and history are unparalleled. Camping under those vast desert skies, it's an experience that gives you a profound sense of place.
It's like a truly iconic Australian experience. It feels almost timeless.
For sure. And then let's head south to the Grampians National Park in Victoria.
Okay.
Here, the landscape changes dramatically. It's all dramatic sandstone mountains, perfect for rock climbing if you're into that.
Cool.
And there's this network of hiking trails that reward you with panoramic views. It's a place where you can challenge yourself physically, surrounded by stunning scenery.
That sounds perfect for someone who wants a more, like, active outdoor experience, but with those incredible views, too.
Exactly. And last but not least, let's journey north to the Daintree Rainforest in Queensland. This is a World Heritage Site, one of the oldest rainforests on Earth, just teeming with biodiversity.
Wow.
Camping here means being enveloped by lush greenery, encountering unique wildlife you won't find anywhere else, and experiencing an ecosystem that's evolved over millions of years. It's like stepping back in time.
You've taken us from the desert to the rainforest, with stunning coastlines and mountains in between. Australia really does offer this incredible range of environments for overland adventures.
Mhm.
Now, for our listener who might be thinking, okay, this all sounds amazing, but what do I actually need to consider if I want to do this? What are some of the essential things to think about?
Great question. Embarking on an overland adventure, it's not just about picking a spot on a map and hitting the gas.
Right.
Gear and preparation are absolutely essential.
Yeah.
You need the right camping equipment for the conditions you'll face. Make sure your vehicle is in tip-top shape and capable of handling the terrain. And you need to understand basic safety protocols for remote travel. Things like carrying enough water, knowing first aid, that kind of thing.
So this is definitely a step up from just pitching a tent at a caravan park for the weekend.
Oh, absolutely. And you also need to be ready for the unexpected. This is
Mhm.
the wilderness, right? You're bound to encounter wildlife, which can be amazing, but it also requires caution and respect.
Of course.
And be prepared for unpredictable weather. Things can change quickly in remote areas. Self-reliance is a key skill for any overland traveler. Being able to troubleshoot and adapt on the fly, that's crucial for you out there.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
And I imagine that with access to these incredible, pristine natural spaces comes a lot of responsibility as well.
Without a doubt. Sustainability in overland travel, it's not optional. It's a must. Stick to the leave no trace principle. Pack out everything you bring in. Minimize your impact on these fragile ecosystems. And be mindful of and support the local communities you pass through. Responsible tourism is vital to ensuring these incredible places remain pristine for future generations.
So it's not just about your own adventure, right? It's about being a respectful visitor to these lands and communities.
Exactly. And when you put it all together, overland travel in Australia, it's an incredibly rewarding experience. It goes way beyond just sightseeing. It's an immersive journey with both exhilarating challenges and really profound rewards.
I bet.
Understanding the history of exploration, it gives you a much deeper appreciation for the landscapes you're traveling through. Being well prepared ensures your safety and allows you to fully embrace the adventure. And acting responsibly towards the environment, well, that guarantees these wild places will continue to inspire.
So for our listener who might be feeling really inspired right now, what's the core message? What's the key takeaway from this deep dive into Australian overland adventures?
The main message is that Australia's wilderness, it's vast and it's untamed, offers these amazing opportunities for adventure, self-discovery, and a real connection with nature. It's a chance to step outside your comfort zone, to witness parts of the world that few others get to see,
Yeah.
and to create lasting memories through self-reliance and immersion in these stunning landscapes. But it's an experience that requires a thoughtful approach. Learn from the history of those who came before you. Prepare diligently for the challenges, and always be a responsible steward of the environment you're exploring.
Thinking about all the history and the diverse landscapes we've talked about today, what part of Australia's overland travel scene sparks the most interest for you? And what might be like a practical first step you could take to turn that interest into a real experience?
What really strikes me is the resilience and the depth knowledge of the indigenous peoples who were the first to navigate and understand these lands. And it makes me think it's so important for us to seek out and respect that traditional knowledge as we explore these places today. Maybe a good first step for someone could be to research indigenous cultural tourism opportunities in the areas they're thinking about visiting.
That's a great idea.
It's a way to gain a deeper understanding and appreciation.
Well, hopefully this glimpse into Australia's wild campsites has sparked that adventurous spirit in you. The open road and the paths less traveled are out there waiting for you to discover them.